with another video sooner than I had anticipated. Probably because I had anticipated coming back with a video about project journals, but I'm not finished with that one yet. It's dragging on. Actually, it's because I keep finding stuff I want to include, so that's good news. Talk more about that in a minute. But let's do finished objects. Someone asked me recently, what is FO? What does that mean? Finished object. And I'm going to rewind a little bit. Do you remember when I did the Rib-a-roni hat? It has that really neat top like that. Well, I actually have done this 2 times. One time I did with a brown yarn and I made a mistake in it, and then I said, you know, I want to try this. I like this hat so much I want to try it with a better yarn. So this is a Knitcrate yarn, and I tried it again and I made the same mistake. Now let me see if I can show you what it is. It's you'll see some pearls right in the middle of these wide ribs. And that's my fault. I read the pattern wrong. But in my defense, I do think it was written a little awkwardly. But I figured it out since then. And because I love the pattern so much, I wanted to get it right. So I made a second one. Now I have 2 out of the same yarn. And this time I did it right. So there is no strange pearl just sticking somewhere, if you can see the difference right there. So I'm really pleased with that and would like to do that hat again, believe it or not. It's very simple, kind of mindless, you know, as you're doing this part, and then you get kind of interesting in the decreases in order to make it look like that. So that's a nice challenge. Moving on, this was some old DK weight yarn that I had, and I was playing with my, I think it was the Centro that I had out, and I used up the ends of this yarn. There was 2 sets of scraps, and I thought the little split palm on top was cute on that. So there's that. And then I did this hat. Now this is a Drops design pattern, and Drops is a yarn company, and then they have free patterns on their website. I actually found it on Ravelry, but it didn't have a name. It just called it men's hat, but when you click on the link, it's called the cactus hat, and this is what it looks like. Essentially, it is a ribbed hat, but what you have is the wide ribs, which are knit, and then in between, it's one column, excuse me, of seed stitch, followed by a column of purl. And then you have your 2 like that. It is a free pattern, and you can, I'll put the link in the description box below. And I kind of liked the way the top did, although again, I got to this part and I thought, gosh, this is written kind of funny. I hope I'm interpreting it correctly. And so that's what the top looks like when I did it. I don't know if that's the way it's supposed to look because I didn't see any pictures of the top of the hat. But there you go. Now you know how I love Knitcrate. I'm always singing its praises, la 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 la. But I wanted to point this out. We recently got an email that said correction in the subject line. So I was like, oh, what are we correcting? And it turns out that they were offering a buy one get one free sale on their mystery bags, I think they're called, and mystery bundles. Now you could get mystery bundles anytime. They're notions and yarn. Excellent price, excellent value, but in this case they were offering a buy one get one free. But because of the way that they had set it up, the technical part, they said because our international customers have weight limits on the order sizes they make, they would need to have the ability to make multiple purchases in order to fully utilize the value of the codes. Making the buy one get one free codes a one-time use code only prevented them from doing so, which is unfair. In order to remedy this, we are issuing the new codes with unlimited uses for today through February 2nd. I can't speak today, I'm sorry. Please see new codes below, followed by the original email. So again, I am always impressed with someone who can say, ooh, I made a mistake, I'm wrong, let me correct that. Making mistakes is not bad. It's what you do about it afterwards. I sound like a mother. This is what I used to always say to my kids. Messing up is not bad. Your character is defined by what you do after that mistake. If you hurt someone's feelings, you apologize, you know, that sort of thing. And in this case, they made it right for their international customers. So I think that was nice. And speaking of Knitcrate, I got some yarn to show. So this is Aldine Wool's flannel. The color I have is called Buffalo, which is 47% Surrey alpaca, 38% alpaca wool, it says, which is obviously the other, 15% non-superwash merino wool, and it's a DK weight. And for the little happy, they sent a lip balm this time, and the flavor is wintergreen marshmallow. Sounds good. And here are the patterns this time, and just remember, I don't get the sock crate, but I do get the sock patterns. That's just part of the deal. So this is the yarn that I received right here, was meant to be used with one of these two patterns. And then I always like to look at the theme of all the colors that were an option. It was called Cabin Retreat. And this is my current work in progress. This is actually a Knitcrate pattern from 2019, the September 2019, and so it ends up looking like that if I do it correctly. It's pretty simple. It's basically just knits and purls, no complicated cables or anything like that. So we'll see. I love crochet amigurumi, but I'm not very good at it. But I still love to look at it. And you know what? Looking at patterns is a hobby in itself. I absolutely love looking at what other people do, and I found this pattern on the Love Crafts website. It is a paid-for pattern, but it is so cute. And think about it, if you start now, you could make a whole flock of chickens. Is that the right term, flock of chickens? You could make a whole hen house full of chickens before Easter. So perfect little springtime activity for those of you who like to do amigurumi. I mentioned last week that I was working on a video about knitting and crochet journals, and I never had thought about using one. I thought it was kind of useless because I'm a digital type person. I like computers and I like to store things digitally, and I thought, why would we want that if we've got Ravelry? Well, I changed my mind, and I have learned so much more about it in my researching that I thought, ding, this needs video. I want to share what I have found with other people. I believe I finished the blog portion. I've collected a whole bunch of links, and I made sure all the links open in new windows so that you won't lose your place while you're perusing. You know how that is when you click on something and it takes you somewhere else and you're like, wait, how do I get back to where I was? So that's for your convenience. I've also created 3 files that I am willing to share with you if you like what I like, and that's all about what the video is about. It's basically customizing it to suit your needs and your desires. But there's still pieces and parts missing. For example, I have in this video and then there's nothing there. That's because I haven't shot the video, and I can't do the video part until I've finished the information collecting part. So that's why this is taking so long. Is I actually work on it a little bit every single day, but it's a lot. You know, whenever I do tutorial type videos, I like to write out sort of like lesson plans. This vlog type, I usually go, but I want to make sure that I gather all my thoughts and I make sure I'm not leaving out important information, and then I want to put those thoughts into some sort of logical order so that it makes sense when you're presenting it. And all that takes time. Not to mention the fact that you have to sometimes create graphics in order to get your instructions apart, like I did in that troubleshoot crochet hat sizing video. A lot of work went into that because I couldn't find anything already done that I could use, so I had to create it. And then after that, it's just the recording process in general, and then following that is the editing process. And editing often takes me days because I only devote, say, my mornings to it, and it's a lot. Several sweet people commented that, oh, I like your videos, I just wish you would do them more often, because I am very guilty of letting months go by. Generally, I've been doing once a month lately, and that's not what I've always done, once a week. And you have to prioritize, and your family is going to have to come first, and I do have some sick family members. Aging is very difficult. So that has to come first, among other things that I do around here. And remember, this is not my job. This is just fun. This is just a hobby. So of course it gets kicked out down the priority list. Now, something I do know to be true is that People who like my videos like them because I edit. And how do I know this? Because the video analytics that YouTube provides us. We've got all kinds of metrics so that we can see what's going on. And I noticed that when I began to edit, I've always edited my videos, but when I began to edit better and my editing skills improved, my watch time jumps dramatically. And basically it's very simple. I just cut the crap, you know, I cut all the big blobs of dead space, and there's often times when I begin explaining and it doesn't come out clearly, so I start again, and you know, just different things like that. But also things like if I'm talking about the Rib-a-roni hat, isn't it helpful if I actually have a Rib-a-roni hat to show you? Now, in this case, it's right here, but what if I was referencing something that I had done previously and I didn't have something to pick up and show you? Boom, I put a picture there so that you could see. I feel that that's important in order to convey what I have to say. So editing does take time. But you know, there are some very successful YouTubers that can do it all in one shot with minimal editing. And well, for example, his name is The Ship Life. It's my favorite cruise information guy that I follow. Wonderful presentation, very concise, keeps things moving. I don't feel like he's reading. I don't think he's got a teleprompter, but it's just very, I don't know. I don't know how he does it. I don't have that kind of skill. My mind races faster than my mouth, and therefore I will stumble over my words because my mind goes this way. I'm talking, and then I have to grab my mind and say, come back, what was I saying? And I have to go back again. I am just not the best at see, look, I just did it. I just demonstrated it for you, and I didn't even mean to. I'm not the best at public speaking where I have my thoughts roll right on out of my mouth. It just doesn't work like that for me. Now, since I'm not a one-take YouTuber, you want to see what my folder view looks like? These are all the files I used for last week's video. And this is what it looks like when it's in my editing software, which happens to be PowerDirector. I would recommend it. I do like it, but there are plenty of others, varying prices. This is probably a mid-range price. Why do I have two pictures like this of the crochet hook? Because when you put the original one in, excuse me, like this, do you see the bars on the side? So I crop it to fill the entire frame. So, you know, that's just an extra step. But if you slide across here, you can see all of the whole video through the entire editing process going like this, all the different things that take place to put the video together. And that's what it looks like at the end. In this case, I leave this blank right here because the end screens are something you put on when you upload the video to YouTube. So you don't actually edit them in before you upload. So how long does it take to edit a video? Well, the short answer, and what you will hear a lot when you Google this, is basically 1 hour for 1 minute of finished video content. And then for me, it depends upon what I'm doing. For example, there are some times when I have a video on the screen and then I want to put a picture on top of that video, and then I need to put some text in order to understand so you can see what I'm referencing in this picture, like maybe an arrow and some text. Well, that's something else that you put down here and then down here, and then you have to move it all around, you have to resize it. Well, look at this. Simple. This little section right here where I had pictures and text and everything to insert, you can see as we look down here how many I had to add and all that. This is probably 1 minute from here to over here, and that took me well over an hour. First I had to record the voiceover and then edit out all the dead space and different things like that. Insert the pictures, crop them so you could see them well, and then put in each one of the words, making sure that they match the length of the section that I was talking about. Here are the sound effects right here. That's more of the text that was showing. And then once you put the text in there for a multi-picture like this, you have to move each one of these individuals around so that you can get them lined up exactly where you want. And here's the end result of all that work. So here it is with some different lighting. Now remember, we all have different screens, so the images can vary slightly among all of us viewers, but that shouldn't affect the amount of fading we perceive as we compare each sample to the original untouched piece. Hey, notice the amount of shrinkage as well, but that's not really what this experiment is about, but it's worth noting, don't you think? But the real question is, did any of these pre-treatments reduce the amount of fading? And the best way to compare that is with the untreated sample. Here's a closer view. What do you think? Actually, I stand corrected. That very edit-heavy clip was actually only 34 seconds of the finished video. So now, does that help you understand why putting a video up is an investment, a time investment for me? And does that help you understand why I do have ads on my videos so that I can maybe recoup a little change here for the time that I spend making these videos? And yeah, I basically do them just for myself because I enjoy it. I enjoy the comment section. But, you know, it's nice to be able to get some cash back for the efforts that are involved. So that's why the ads are there for me. So I may have just told you far more behind the scenes than you ever want to know about my channel. But of course, you're sitting in the driver's seat. So if you don't like what I'm saying, you can turn me off. And that is really wonderful. Isn't it awful when you have to go in person to some sort of seminar and you think, this person is the slowest talking person I've ever met. When can we get out of here? But with YouTube, you just turn them off. So if you have stuck with me this long, thank you very much, and I hope to see you in another video soon. Bye.